Loudest drawer.
Hey, hey, hey. Thanks for vibing with
CeCe and
CeCe, where we talk about all the hot topics. What's your vibe, girl?
girl,
What
I'm
you
feeling
up to?
good. Good vibes.
Good vibes. I see that.
Right.
Yes.
How are you feeling? What's your vibe like?
Girl, I'm the same girl, just here enjoying this summer, girl. Good vibes with the
Oh, yeah.
kids. Yes. I'm just having a good time trying to hang up, catch up with friends and, the business stuff, that's
Of
always
course.
there.
The business stuff is always there. It's
Same.
always around and lurking, but the summer vibes, like they're trying to ease into it and everything. And I just feel like I'm ready for it, girl. I got me a little margarita
Oh
here.
my gosh. I had one. I had two earlier. I'm gonna lie to you.
Margaritas?
My kids' little swimming party. Oh girl, the mom. Oh, she's about that. This is every year swimming party, honey. Those margaritas be coming, but I wasn't really drinking that much.
Okay.
I had two,
The
Mm.
annual pool party. That is so cute how y'all come together and do that and like it's adult fun and kiddie fun. So like everybody's there enjoying themselves. I love
Girl,
that.
we were splashing and eating Chick-fil-A and everything, girl.
Oh, having a great time. I love it.
They
I'm all
said,
summer
oh,
about
ice
it.
cream. They had like a little ice cream section, like an ice cream bar. And then the
Mhm.
lady made an announcement: ice cream has to be done in 10 minutes. Honey, I was in that line. I was like, girl.
Chi-Chi.
I know I was supposed to be on a diet, but I was like, wait, they said ice cream hasn't even 10 minutes. I was in that line.
We don't want to go into any depths on that. We're gonna leave that alone because I know you're gonna get back on the bandwagon.
I'm human.
Yeah. Don't you start that, Chi-Chi. We haven't even got to these topics.
Let's
Okay.
go, girl.
Let's go. So the first topic I want to kick off is what or how do you feel about doing business with a friend? And I know this is an interesting topic because we're business partners. So,
Yes,
but you have other friends.
I do.
And how do you feel about doing business in general with a friend?
Yeah, so it can always go left or right, right?
Yeah.
So it depends on who you're doing business with, right? Because you really don't like your friend, like when you're with as a friend, you're one person. Like we talk about, everybody has different hats. So as a wife, I'm a different person. I'm submissive and things like that. As a student, I'm different. As a business partner, I'm different. So I think it's doable, but it
Mhm.
depends on having that very transparent conversation with that friend prior to getting business with them, especially if you value that friendship. Just be like, okay, friend, I'm
Mhm.
crazy as a business person, but I love you. So please, like during the business time, please don't take anything personal because at the end of the day, it's all love in terms of love. But as a business person, I'm a different person. That's just who I am. Whatever. So I think having that transparent conversation, just letting them know up front, you know, that no matter what happens, I still love you and stuff like that. I think that's necessary just to make sure because it's going to be some, conversation that you're going to differ on. But I think it
Mhm.
can go well with adequate communication
Mhm.
and respect throughout the whole time. And but it can be very iffy. But it depends on if the friend, and it can be, and it's so risky, especially if you value that friendship.
Those are really good evaluation points, honestly. You've touched on everything that I was pretty much thinking. So, as a follow-up question, do you think it's easier to go into business with someone you don't know? Y'all are just strictly business partners, or do you think it's good to have some type of relationship when you go into business with somebody?
Well, you know what? Like now that I'm actually experiencing it, going into a business with a person that you know is actually not bad at all.
It's not.
But it's really not because that person, that y'all both want the same thing. Y'all both, that that person and you want the same thing, or y'all genuine. So it's not no back and forth, or you think this person is trying to get you on the back end or something
Mhm.
like that. It's all love, it's all business, and there's no sneaky business going on. So that's really important. You know that you can call your friend and be like, "Hey, girl, okay, so what's going on?" And just like really like get into the meat of it, and type of stuff. So I mean, I so far don't see a problem with it. I actually think it's really good because you can have those real one-on-one conversations and go back and forth like grown-ups, and then call it a day, and then. So I don't know. So
Yeah.
far, I mean, it's been fine.
I agree. It's almost more comfortable. It's more familiar territory. If you
Mm,
really know the friend that you're going into business with, you're kind of already expecting and evaluating. You've already evaluated how they move in general with their normal day-to-day life. So
mhm,
then when it goes to y'all become business partners, y'all decide to like sign a contract, make money together, you're already
mhm.
looking out for each other. Like you
Right.
already got each other's back. You're already trying to help each other be successful, bring in money, secure the
Mhm.
bag or whatever. So it's like y'all are already like minded in that sense, anyways. So it's to me a smoother transaction because you kind of can like not foreshadow, but as friends, I
Mhm.
know how you think about a lot of things. Not to
Right.
say that we're not going to challenge each other to think outside the box
Yeah, we're gonna
and look at
challenge, baby. We're gonna
the
challenge.
challenge. The
They
challenge.
fun challenge, honey. They be like, oh, okay. And we listen, and then the good thing, we be listening to each other, like, okay. I literally be
Mhm.
writing notes and everything, like, okay, yeah.
She touched
So
on that. She actually, yeah, that's a good. Ooh, that
yeah,
statement, like that, the way she worded that, I'm gonna have to
yeah,
use that one next time.
low key. I'm not gonna lie to you.
So I think we can say like being friends and business partners can work and it can work very well.
Yes.
Now, if we're going to take it to another step or look at it from a different point of view, what about being roommates or living with a friend? Say, you're married, but you have to move out of town for a month or something for work, or
Okay.
you're single, like in my case, I'm
Yeah.
single. I
Yeah.
have friends that may travel for work or whatever. They want to stay with me for a little while.
Yeah.
I personally, depending on, I guess, the friend, because it's so interesting to me how there's so many different dynamics in friendships.
Yeah.
And I like having my friends around.
You
I
sure?
really do. Because
Hmm.
I guess I know in my mind it's temporary, but long term, what it will look like living with a friend, I think it can possibly work. I haven't had a roommate since college, friend.
Right.
Like, so I truly, but I know people are doing it now with the way the economy is, girl. I'm over here scouting roommates occasionally. Like,
Yeah.
it gets real. So it makes me consider, like, would I want to live with a friend or somebody that we're kind of just like acquaintances?
Yeah. So I've done that before, of course, in college. And for the most part, everything was good.
Mhm.
But yeah, actually the whole time everything was good actually. There was no issues but like one random time. But I don't even know why that happened, but it was just one off type deal, but it was fine for the most part. The only thing it did get iffy one time because we had friends, similar friends that I wasn't friends with. So it gets iffy where they bring that person over and that's fine. But then that person come over and then try to disrespect me or something like that in my own house. And then you friends with my friend. So it's like that borderline's like, dang, like you friends with my friend out of respect, but you really just respecting my own house. So that
Mhm.
happened to me in real life.
I was
And
there. That's why I was looking like, I'm
that
like,
was
I was there. So
yeah. So what was the outcome? Do you remember?
that's the
Tell the
thing.
people.
Like,
Tell the people. Tell
I'm over here like, let me just sip the
I
drink
know
and
which one you
listen.
talking about. Are you talking about the one that was friends with you, or I don't think you're talking about. I don't think that's the one that was friends with you. I'm not talking about that one.
No, I wasn't either. I
Okay.
mean, I was thinking about like your friends.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that it was like no. So
Yeah.
it gets you in that situation ship where you're like, ooh. So it can, but for the most part, I mean, I love, like I said, I love my friends too, actually. But like it depends too, different dynamics. Like I know, like for instance, some friends are like real. They got a place called Cupcake. Like they got their little, they got their place called Cupcake, and everything has to be in order. So I mean, I don't really do much. I mean, I don't know if that will work with me. I don't
No,
know.
I never thought about it, like if we were roommates or something.
Yeah, I
I
don't.
think we would
Mhm.
probably rub off on each other because, yeah,
Okay.
I'm very particular. You're more like flowy, like, oh, it'll come together. Like, it's not a big deal. You don't think about some of the nuances that I think of.
Right,
I
right.
mean, because wherever I go, I'm still going to do that. Like, in my space, it'll probably be that way. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, or I'll help around. But at the same time, I think it'll probably just be a merge or it may be very irritating over time. I don't know.
Probably right. So I guess it
Yeah.
all depends on personalities, but I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's for anything. But my
Yeah,
husband was
true.
like that too, though. Like he's real, like OCD, to be
Mm,
honest with you. But I mean, to be honest with you, I think he can't really be OCD because we got kids. I was like, bro, you about
yeah.
to like blow your head up because I don't know what you're gonna do. We got kids. Like it is not stay that organized. So it all depends. But to answer your question,
Mhm.
you can I lived with friends and I absolutely loved it. I was always with my friends, sleeping on the couch, stuff like that. I really don't do much at home. My house, when I'm at home, I'm just literally like a library. I literally just
Uh-huh.
watch
You are.
TV and I study. I don't do much. Only time I'm really like active is when I'm outside the house. I'm really quiet at home. I don't do
Mhm.
much of nothing. I'll literally be in my room, mind my business.
So, and this is kind of like off topic, but you made me think about it when you're like, well, it's hard to keep things organized because you have kids and everything.
Mhm.
So, at what point do you teach the kids, like, okay, y'all need to clean up, do these dishes? Y'all have chores now. We have a calendar. Like, is that
Mhm.
too strict? Because I feel like
That's
I was
strict.
doing dishes and cleaning the kitchen and doing all type of stuff probably around like 9,
Mhm.
10, 11. Like for sure by 11, I'm sure I was doing some serious chores.
For sure. Oh
So,
no,
how does
they
it
do
work?
chores. They do chores.
Mhm.
They have a sign place in the house that they do
Okay.
and everything. But it was that once you eat again,
Yeah.
I mean, you got a 5-year-old or something like that. This
Mhm.
stuff all over the counter again. I'm like, but you like you got to clean up after yourself. You got to still do. You got to keep reinforcing and reinforcing. But it's gonna get dirty again. They go
Yeah.
outside and they come back and then once you know they run down the
Mhm.
carpets with mud. I'm like, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't. That's why I want to pull off the carpets now.
Right, and just have wood
Because it's a
floors,
mess.
honestly.
Woo.
Yeah, wood floors would be
Hey,
easier. It's like now it's time to go to bed. We got to get these kids together. But yeah, I mean, I wonder. I always wonder because because I am so big on like keeping things so tidy, I don't know what that would look like with kids. And I
oh,
feel like realistically, it's like, oh, you can do it all. It can still be maintained at the same level it's been. Like that's idealism. So I'm just always curious, like, how in the world do y'all keep things tidy at the house?
boy, see, people don't know that. And even when I talk to other people, I'm like, man, your house is so, like, you got all these kids, your house is so nice. They said, girl, if you would have knocked in my house randomly, it would not look like this. So
Mhm.
it's a good cleanup. Cleanup time, and then boom, like get 5 hours of, "Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
And after that, her thing, shh, woo,
I believe it because folks just be living, moving around, playing. And kids are so free, like they don't think about the things that we think of. Like some kids are very particular though. They like things to be neat or whatever, but they still make messes because they're kids.
I'm playing Play-Doh right downstairs. All on the
Oh,
counter. I'm like, okay, because I came in, it was all clean. So I cleaned before I left, and they got came back from the party. They have
uh-huh.
Play-Doh and all this gooey stuff. I'm just
Ooh,
like, okay, play over here in this area, but when I go downstairs, it's gonna be a mess.
it's gonna be all over the place. Are they
Walls and everything.
have they been designated to be only in the kitchen or like okay.
Yes, that's it. Those gift bags that y'all got, use your plate on those gift bags. So then once
Yeah.
y'all mess up, y'all can throw it away.
Yeah.
So, girl,
Well, you know how we just love to chit chat because that's part of our vibe a lot of times. And
yes.
we just give like a little inside scoop to what's going on with our day to day. But to get into I guess it's kind of like the last topic potentially.
Mhm.
We'll see.
Yes.
This one kind of transitions us into like kind of from okay, it transitioned us from the other topics we were just talking about for friendships.
Okay.
So we talked about like doing business with a friend, living with a friend. Now, how does your, I guess, platonic relationships dictate your romantic relationships? Like, do you feel that they can kind of show like how you're going to interact in your personal romantic relationship with your significant other? Is there any indication like the same way you are with your friends is going to be how you are with your romantic relationship?
Okay. You want me to
Hmm.
answer that? You want to answer that?
I guess I can jump in to give some more background
Okay.
because I was talking to one of my friends. We had a conversation like, I guess last week or earlier in the week. I don't remember. But she was basically explaining how you can interact with people, your friendships, and people that you just come in contact with, associates and stuff like that. And that persona that you show can also be the same type of persona that you show in your romantic relationships. For
Mm,
example, like if you're really kind, if you're encouraging, those same things that you use with any friend, you would then use in your romantic relationships. And also the way you act with your friends, or if you have long term friendships, long standing friendships, that can
mhm.
be a good indicator of how you're going to be in a romantic relationship. And I
Okay.
think there's some truth to that. But how do
Hmm.
you feel?
Yeah, that sounds pretty. Because I'm trying to think in like my term. Like, yeah, that sounds pretty on point. Because you can't be nasty to your friends and be all this rude bad person and think you're gonna come to your romantic relationship and be so sweet. I mean, you can, but that's called like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde or
Mm,
something like that. So I feel like your organic stuff with your because your spouse is your friend. Like
right.
they
That's
are.
true.
Like they are your friend that they're like your best friend or your lover and all that. But they're
Mhm.
essentially, you're not just loving on that person like that every 24 hours. They're essentially your friend. Essentially who you
Yeah.
talk to, who you gossip to, who you have
Mhm.
arguments with. That's the whole circle of what friends are, right? That's what they
Mhm.
are. So essentially. So
Right.
how
It's
you are
true.
to your friend is really how you are to your romantic spouse. I
Mhm.
mean, so like how I am to my friends, I'm literally the same person to my husband. Like bubbly. It's when it's time to have fun, have fun. When it's time to get serious, I get serious, and I gotta apologize. I'm sorry, babe. Sorry,
Mm.
boo. Like I love you, baby. But
Yeah.
so it's like the same thing. So
Yeah.
I think in a real organic relationship, you should be yourself. Like how are
Mhm.
you are your normal day. It's not really a off and on. You're just more
Right.
sweeter. Like when it's time to get romantic, you get romantic, whatever.
Mhm.
But I don't know. But they're your friends. But of course, it was a little twist.
Right. It's other levels of interaction. It's not just the friendship or the platonic. Like you want that to be the core of the relationship, I believe,
Right.
potentially. Like you want to really like that person for who they are. And I think that's
Mhm.
what friendships are. You acknowledge, you see that person, you like them for who they are, you accept them, you appreciate their idiosyncrasies, all those little things. So to me, I was just thinking like, well, if I'm dating somebody or something and they don't have any friendships or the way they interact with their friends kind of is questionable, I'm probably going to like do a double take potentially now after thinking and talking through this conversation. Like, because if you don't have no real friends or you don't know how to be a real friend, how are you really going to be with me? Like,
Right.
honestly, because I mean, even when you start dating, y'all usually meet each other's friends and stuff like that. I mean, I would hope guys would look at like, well, is she acting fake with her friends? Does she talk about them behind their back? Like, there's all these things that I feel will help kind of show a person's true character when it
Right.
comes to how they deal with people. Like,
True.
if you have no real, and we kind of talked about this in one of our other shows, like, well, if their friends are cheaters and stuff like that, are they cheaters? We were kind of like, it kind of depends on that relationship, how long they've been friends. There's other questions that we will have to ask. But
Right.
in general, across the board, like, if you're the type of person that your friends are real shady, or, your friends are like doing stuff behind your back, or you talking about them,
Right.
and it's like no real loyalty, I'm going to be like,
Yeah, I agree.
oh, I don't think this
Right.
is a safe space.
Right. It's true. Like
Yeah.
your whole circle is cheaters and y'all just go to the club and y'all just do your thing and my
Mm,
husband or whatever isn't part of that. No, I'm gonna feel some type of way. Why is that your vibe? So
right. And not to say that like a person that hangs out with cheaters, that's their struggle.
right,
We're not gonna say that,
right,
but I just feel like there's so many people in the world and we limit ourselves by just like, not saying proximity is so important, but
mm-hmm.
proximity is not everything when it comes to relationship. You met your husband was overseas, like in a whole
Yeah.
nother country. So
Mm-hmm.
that's
Wait,
not proximity, but y'all were able to build a rapport because y'all had people. You know how y'all were
yeah,
connected in a sense. Not to
right.
give out too much because that's y'all's story,
It's
but
okay.
it was
Mhm.
word of mouth. You kind of knew some background. He knew some background on about you because of a
Mhm.
friendship that you had built,
That's
essentially.
right. A platonic friendship that
A
that person must
platonic
have,
friendship.
because it wasn't planned. That person must have watched me and saw that I was a real good person and just
Hmm.
introduced me to now the love of my life. So
Oh
people
yeah.
watch each other. So I guess it all circled around. People watch how you move to see, like, okay, if you move in this way, as a friendship, me and you are really platonic friendships, and you're moving this way, you'd be good for my cousin.
Hmm.
So like that's just people watching. Like you never know. People's always watching
They are.
every day. Yeah.
This is so true. People are literally always watching. And even if it's not like that creepy, like eyeballing you like a stalker, but you should be aware of your surroundings anyways.
Right.
So you're going to kind of see somebody, or you may. be in the same store with somebody and you're gonna kind of pay attention to how they're carrying themselves. Well, at least you should
Mm-hmm.
be aware of your surroundings. But
Right.
yeah, you never know. Like I've met people randomly just being out and about or having conversations just at dinner or wherever it may be, going shopping, and it's just like, oh, this is a commonality. So I see how they move, regardless if we're ever going to be friends or talk in life or whatever. But
Right.
sometimes it's just like kind of changing the subject a little bit and moving over to just like energy and people's vibes when they're
Right.
around you, you know? Sometimes it's cool just to put a little sprinkle of good energy out there, just to be like, oh, shoot, happy Thursday, or,
Right.
let's make it a good day, or good vibes.
Right. Right.
Good
Because
vibes only.
it's
Mhm.
a small world on, and I'm gonna just
Oh,
end
yeah.
it with this. It's a small world, and like we said, you don't know who knows you, who knows your people, or they may even know you. You don't even know it because today, the place I was at, before it was like at the end of the party. I spoke to this one lady. I said, "Oh, I never introduced myself to you. How are you? My name is da da da." And she told me her name. She said, "I know you." I said, "Oh, you do?" She said, "You work
Oh.
at X, Y, and Z." I said, "I do." You do
Mhm.
too, huh? And she's like, "Yeah, I saw you. I was gonna say hello. I know your mom." I was like, I was like,
Oh,
"Oh wow."
wow.
Yeah, so if I didn't speak to her, I wouldn't know this person actually know my mom, where I work, everything. So talk about if I was rude to her. I would have saw her the
Ooh.
next day at my job.
Yeah.
So but if we didn't speak, I would have never knew she knew like of me and where I all my movements. I was like, wow,
Mhm.
it's
You
crazy.
never know who you're entertaining.
Right.
So, honestly, I think that is something to be said. Like, kind of presenting yourself. And again, we have different sides, we have different facets, we're
Mm-hmm.
dynamic. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel when you initially don't even know anyone, being cordial, just being kind, and just giving off just a positive aura, I guess, is enough. Like, and I
Right.
don't, we say that's not being fake or anything, but you just
No,
never know. You could be talking to your next investor or your
no.
next husband
Right.
or your kid's teacher. You just never know. Somebody that's about to make you food or something like
Yes.
that. So
Yes.
it's best to just kind of like carry yourself accordingly, meaning give some common decency.
Yes.
So,
All right. Well, Vibe Squad, it was been another episode. Definitely, we want to hear from you. Definitely comment below any vibes that you caught today. Let's talk about it. Put it down below. Comment, like, subscribe. Of course, if you haven't so far for my new Vibe Squads, turn on your notification. We launch every Saturday at 12 p.m. So definitely don't miss out for a good episode. That's all I got.
same here, vibing out.
See ya.